Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zemo the Dad DPS, and we're back with another episode of Good, the Scrap and the Scrap, a series where I find weapons in Appalachia and test them out. And today's weapon is no different. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Some call it Boris the Bullet Dodger. I like to call it a sneaky F in Russian. So Boris the Bullet Dodger, it is a juggernaut. Bullets explode for air damage, stealth field fixer. The reason I'm using it in the mode I'm using it is it's in single shot mode. I'm using it in the Rifleman build, and we're going to get to see how well a fixer does outside of the norm, which I think it's very oversaturated in what people use, and I just feel like using something different. And if you're wondering about the name, Google it, it'll come up pretty quickly. It's from the movie Snatch. Either way, let's get on with it. Now, with any weapon, I tend to bring it to some of the better challenges. And not in every case. I could technically take it to the little doodads that I want to fight right now, which are the Scorts, because we are still on April 1st when I'm filming this. Now, as you're seeing, the weapon kills most enemies, or rather, the super mutants, in like 2 or 3 shots. So, pretty similar to what it would be doing on a normal basis. It's just a case of I'm not having to spam a load of shots, and I can be a bit more pragmatic and just keep stuff on my own. A bit more simple, quicker, slower, and I can take my own pace at it. And sometimes I find that's the funner way of playing this game. Sometimes you get that where shots don't register. But I'm able to just kind of casually take my time and murder. Which is what it's all about. Either way, it still does some pretty impressive damage and kills enemies very quickly. There's really not much reason to say anything bad, other than it's not killing them as fast as usual because it's a fixer, yeah, it's doing well. So this is the build that we're using. You might recognise it from yesterday because it is using pretty much all the same perks apart from the bow ones and the explosive perk. It's pretty standard rifle build. There's nothing special about it. It is not like min-maxed through the arse like a lot of people's builds are. And this character isn't even like min-maxed because they're not really that high a level in comparison. You know, I've not got all my legendary perks maxed out on this character. Either way, you've seen the build. You know what I've got. As usual, we are sneaking up on Jeff, and I'm going to shoot him with a fixer in the face, and then kind of decide what we're going to do after that. Now, let's wake him up by shooting him. That's the problem with Jeff. We need to wake up his big fat ass up. And let's just begin blasting him with the fixer. Now you're seeing we're doing relatively decent damage. There's nothing majorly amazing. It is pretty standard damage. And if I wasn't such a bad shot, probably would have killed him in one clip. So yeah, that works. Alright, the Queen's up out of bed and she's not happy with me. But we are going to try and take out her limbs and hopefully then bring her down. Now, what I'd say about this weapon is it doesn't have the same stopping power that its automatic equivalent has. Let's be honest, the fixer is an absolute beast in general, and its fire rate is what gives it its kind of superior stopping power in terms of other things. But at the same time, it doesn't make it a bad weapon. It's just not as optimized when you're using it in this mode. And that's not to say you can't use it, it's just to say that you're not going to be doing as much as you would be. The fire rate in it's not actually that bad outside of being non-automatic, it's just not incredibly amazing either. As you're seeing, we're taking this Mirelurk Queen down, but I wouldn't say that it's doing the same level of death dealing as it would if I was a bloodied stealth commando, for example. This is the kind of curse of being full health. You're never going to do the same amount of damage, but at the same time you can get by. And you can get by being plainly just sneakier than other enemies. There is also the fact that you're also just not taking it down very quickly in general. That being said, ballistic damage very rarely takes down the Queen in the same way that energy damage does, I find. I find like my energy weapons go through like a butter knife, through a lobster covered in butter. And I'm not really optimising the damage making by shooting her in just the random bits of her body. Either way, it takes her down. Not as good as I said, automatic counterpart. Now, I think we all know how Daily Ops is going to go for this weapon, but let's humour us and kind of see what happens. Now, the reality is, it is Robot Day, Stealth Robot Day again, only because this was filmed the same day as the last weapon, and I'm using a weapon that I would ideally want to use VATS with. It's not going to go well, and it just exposes the weakness of a lot of weapons that work in this kind of manner, is if you're not using them in the way that you intend to use them, they don't tend to work as well, and stealth is a VATS user's biggest enemy. Don't get me wrong, things still go down relatively easily. I mean, I'm not like struggling to kill things, but at the same time, if I could use VATS, I would have these things down before they could even get really close to me. On top of that, this being a build currently tailored towards stealth, I'm not getting the optimized, damage, the optimized abilities. I'm not hitting weak points. I'm just sort of shooting into them because that's all I can really do. And while that works, as I've said, it's not like the best strategy in the world, and it's not going to get you everywhere. But you are going to get through Daily Ops fairly sufficiently with this method. It's just not optimized. I mean, that's literally all I can say about it. It's a gun that will do well against the majority of the enemies in the game in this mode, and you can get away with using a fixer in this mode because it's easier to stealth as a Rifleman. And if you enjoy playing it with Rifleman, I would heavily recommend trying it out. I mean, there's no reason for you not to do it. It's just not as good as it would normally be if you were to go full commando build. But that's all it can really be said about it. It's better as a commando weapon, but it still works. It's not against, well, just not well against these stupid camouflaged robots. So, that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, there is all the usual methods of the YouTube member button, my Ko-fi link, and my Teespring. And let's thank our YouTube members. We have Dealfane Gaming and Goldie, our chosen undad members, and then we have our Dad's Army members, which are Wyatt Blackburn, Wallers Me, Colin G, Peggy McKnight, Matasbo, Devilman Games, Marcus Carrasco, Scott S, Bubba Diddle Mom, and Ranger McSprudle. I hope you're all doing really well and still enjoying the content. So this weapon, I think, yeah, I fundamentally proven that a regular automatic fixer is going to do better. But at the same time, you can still use it as a Rifleman build. There's no reason why you shouldn't if that's what you want to use, and it's a very good weapon for stealth-based kind of combat as a Rifleman build. If you're not wanting to stealth, though, I would definitely recommend things like the lever action, because they do have superior damage, and I do think they work better. But at the same time, it's all about what you want to use versus what you can use. It all just depends on what you've found and what you've got. Either way, I enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well, and we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.